It's me and Dr. V, the one nobody knows about but all know about, the all-knowing one. How y'all doing?
Doing great,
You
Mark.
doing great? You're looking good. You're always looking
I
good.
am looking good today.
You look good all the time. You get ready, you're ready to rock. You're the action man.
Ready to go.
There you go. Well, let's start. Here we go. Today we're going to talk about, is Donald Trump fiddling as America burns down, or at least burns parts of the tree. And let's remember something. This is an opinion, a live stream. Joe and I will tell you what we think based on facts. We may argue with one another. We've done it for 55 years, so that wouldn't be anything unusual. But we base it on facts. We watch and read lots of different media because it's important to read more than one. And we tell you what we think. If you disagree, you go on the mosh pit. If you agree, you go into the mosh pit. Tell us what you think and just run with it. I'll note very quickly, I don't know what happened to the Washington Post, Joe. I've been a subscriber since whenever. I loved the Washington Post. It was Watergate and everything, losing 300 people. And then the guy who fired everybody just quit. I'll keep my subscription going for a while, but it just
Bezos spent all his money with Melania's movie. Can't afford to pay the Washington Post people.
You're right. So it's called making sure that the government backs Blue Origin or leaves him alone, lets him do what he wants to do and do whatever else Amazon does. Either way, I'm going to keep the subscription right now because I want to see where it's going. But right now, it's looking a bit tenuous with what it's offering. What does our thumbnail mean? Those of you who don't know about Nero, word is Nero was a big-time guy. He was like Caesar. He ran Rome, but he was supposed to be a loon. I believe it. I don't know anybody who knew him personally. I don't think Joe knows anybody who knew him personally or knew his psychiatrist or anything from back then, but we didn't know. It appears that Nero lit the fire. It all went, and he was having a good time playing the fiddle while the fire was going. I'm sure it wasn't that simple, but that's what's happening. So we're drawing an alliteration with the thumbnail for those of you who may not understand. I just like, you got to learn a little history. People don't learn a little history. We were going to go directly into the economy and how bad the affordability is and how bad the economy is. But I wanted to
change up. What you're saying is his country was falling apart and he was just fiddling or doing renovations on his residence.
Yeah, but this guy lit the match.
Actually lit the match.
And I'm saying we may, I don't think Trump's doing it to burn the country down, but he's lighting the match. He lit the match and things are just broken everywhere. And we're going to talk about all this and why I believe it was really hurting America. But before then, we have to get to the Obama issue. And I think everybody's misunderstanding what's going on. As you know, that Trump put out a meme, which he loves doing, like when he did dropping manure all over the protesters on O King's Day. He puts out a meme, and at the end of the meme, there's a picture of the Obamas, Michelle and President Obama, grinning on either ape pictures or gorilla pictures or whatever, simian pictures, whatever you want to call it, monkey pictures. And that was out and out total racism. There's no getting away from it. And I'm watching all these people on TV, right wing and left wing. The right wing's Kamagas try to get, Biden. No. This is just out and out, total, absolute, and complete prejudice. All people have to do, Joe, is get on YouTube and look up George Wallace and listen to some of the things he said. He was the governor of Alabama, actually ran for president and won, I think, a couple. I don't know. Did he win a couple states? I don't know, but he won like 20% of the vote. Or Maddox, Lester Maddox, who gave out axe handles to say we don't allow blacks in, and listen to them. In fact, I heard him talking to Jim Brown on one, and the words that he used are so much like the words that we hear from the president and what's going on and the way they talk about these people. And blacks have always been dealt with in American history, most of the time, as simians, as heathens, as animals, as unrestrained whatever, okay? And not smart at all. And that's been America. And we've been dealing with it. And we've been dealing with it and trying to change it. And we have been changing it. And people we're starting to come together. But now we have a situation where the president of the United States puts pictures of the former president and his wife, and she was a hell of a first lady. I loved him as a president. She was a hell of a first lady on top of pictures of gorillas. Now, everybody's saying, like I said, these MAGAs are making excuses and maybe not this or that. And let me ask you something. That thing was up for 12 hours. And his press secretary was saying, oh, America doesn't care about this. It doesn't matter. It's not an issue. Yet then we start hearing, well, won't President Trump admit it made a mistake and say, hey, it was a mistake. It shouldn't have gone up. But what do we hear, Joe? This is what we hear. And then I'm going to tell you, I want to give you the answer to whether or not it's a mistake. He sat there and said first, I don't know anything about it. Then it was an aide did it. Then it was, well, I looked at it and just didn't look at the last 10 seconds, and goes through the whole thing. And I'm not going to apologize because I didn't make a mistake. And Joe, this is what everybody's missing. He didn't make a mistake. He intended to have that put up. That's what President Trump wanted. To me, it opened my eyes. I've always thought a lot of what he does is performative, but when you listen to all the stuff, Abby, what's her name? I'm sorry, she's really good. 10 o'clock CNN, Abby Phillip did a whole thing about how blacks have been dealt with as gorillas, monkeys, simians, whatever, all these years, and what they've had to deal with. It was just beautiful. It was really great. And still heard people trying to make excuses for what Trump did. But at the same time, you can't make excuses and you can't ask for an apology because he meant it. Listen to everything he says. I didn't believe it. It's like I didn't believe Biden was totally out of it, Dr. V. I know you didn't either. And all of a sudden on that debate, and we're listening to him and said, whoa, he doesn't have it. I can't vote for this guy. He can't be president of the United States. Even though you and I were supporters and liked a lot of what he did, think he's a good guy, said he can't do it after listening to that. He can't do it. How is that? This to me is like a wake-up call to me. I'm beyond the performative. President Trump has now proven that he is prejudiced, not just against blacks. He does it with the Hispanics, with the hat, when he did it with who did he do it? He does it with different people to make them look like, with the mustaches and playing Chiquita Banana and I'm here to stay, that kind of stuff. He's really into it. And the reason he's into it is because he wants to divide. And he thinks that the way to get support is to keep his MAGA people here, to keep dividing and subdividing and not realizing that people are starting to come together and going, this is an aha moment. This is an aha moment. So don't fall for it. I'm asking you. This is right wing, left wing, north or south. This is straight up. This is prejudice. If you said it to any of your friends, I'm talking to the mosh pit, Joe. If you said it to our viewers, if you said this to any of your friends, they would know you were just not supposed to be that. You're just prejudiced. And how would they deal with you? I know I'd call them out. I'd walk out of the room. And how many Republicans you hear doing it? None. Hardly. A few. How many MAGAs you hear doing it? Tim Scott has been complaining. He's the black senator from South Carolina, the Republican, saying, this is the worst of the stuff I've heard from the president, which means how much more has he heard as a black man, as an American, and having to hear this from the president of the United States and say, okay, but I'll still bow down to him. I'll still bow down to him because you're in a cult. You're in a cult. You can't see the truth. This man is total prejudice. You can like him. You can say whatever you want about TDS. The real TDS is he is deranged. And it is horrible that he did this because he is the great disuniter. And that's part of him throwing the gas on America. You see it on our thumbnail, the gas on the fire. You don't see the gas. You just see the fire. Now let's take it. Let's go where we were going to go with the economy. Joe, did you want to say something?
Yeah, his father was clearly prejudiced.
I don't care about his
I'm just saying, but the way he deals with his racism, there's another twist to it. I think he's more addicted to attention than anything else. That he thought this would get some reaction from people by reposting,
And he was right.
and
It wasn't a
he was
mistake.
absolutely right. He got an awful lot of attention, and so you ask him to apologize, he got exactly what he wanted. So part of the problem is that he's prejudiced, yes, but the other part of the problem is he's, I think, addicted to attention, and that's why he puts this stuff out there. And then we pay attention to him, so he gets his dopamine fix, and we see that over and over again. So I think a lot of people in the Republican Party say, look, this is who he is. Why keep giving him that dopamine fix by paying attention to this stuff? On the other hand, some people on the left, the Democrats, make a big deal out of it and say he has to apologize. He has to do this. And it becomes like a headline news. In the meantime, we're taking our eye off, I think, important issues. And that works in Trump's favor.
Which we were going to talk about, and I agree.
Yeah.
But the where I have to diverge from you, Joe. This just blew me away.
Really?
You didn't think he was just another
racist before this?
No, I thought he was. I thought he was a New York guy with the big mouth who would say whatever it took to get whatever.
New York 5. You remember the New York 5 advertisement he put in?
I know, but hey, listen. I know all that stuff. I'm saying to you, I didn't. I just thought he was, like you were saying, just looking for attention, always doing stuff, anything to be able to be on the front page. I always believed that, and of course, it's true. But here, when I'm listening to them say last night or the other night on TV, all the Republicans and the Democrats, why won't he apologize for the mistake? It's because, as you just said, after when I said it, agreeing, I assume, it wasn't a mistake. It was real. And to me, it's like an aha moment to me. That's what I'm just saying. It's like Biden, when Biden lost it on the debate. Yeah. It was an aha moment. I didn't believe he was that out of it. I don't think you did. We came on the next day or that night and said, whoops.
Yeah, that was a turning point.
We got a problem.
That was an aha moment. Yeah, you're right, with Biden. He was.
Right. And we were supporters of Biden, and we were very upfront about it, and came out and said we can't support Biden anymore. Remember, we said that
night.
Because all that matters is America. All that matters is our country and our flag and our people here. Okay, it's still a great country, but that's all that matters. Okay, now here's Trump on the other side, and I'm looking at it going, I can't believe that people don't see this, won't fight it. I was watching on Abby Phillip. There's this woman and a guy, and they're making excuses for it. I see it on Fox. They're making excuses for it. And all I ask is that you people go back and listen to George Wallace or Lester Maddox on YouTube. I'm not pushing YouTube because we're on YouTube. I'm just saying, or live streaming on YouTube. Look at it. It's the exact same words. And I'm sitting there going, wow, it wasn't a mistake. He does think they're animals. He does think they're monkey or simian or gorilla or whatever. And it just, and then everybody went, oh, okay. And I'm watching this on Fox and I'm going, phew. And I look at the dummies in the Democratic Party who are going, where's the apology? And I'm going, you're not going to get one because it wasn't a mistake for the two reasons you gave. He's addicted to attention and he got it. Okay?
I'd like to make one other point too. That people are saying, who cares? It's the Obamas and this and that. But it reflects something else more fundamental that everyone should be concerned about. When you use images like that, you're dehumanizing your political opponents, the people that you don't like, the people that don't support you. And he does that with the Haitians, that they eat their pets, dogs and cats. He tends to do it for anyone who disagrees with him. And what that reflects is a complete lack of empathy for people who are not like him or actually who are not him. And if you have a president who doesn't have empathy, doesn't have understanding, he's not going to be able to feel your pain. And by your pain, I don't mean just the immigrants. I don't mean just the blacks. I'm talking about people who are hurting in this country. All he cares about, apparently, is what enriches him, what serves his best interest. And that's what you see over and over again. And I'm putting this out for people who support him. You might be happy this week because the stock market hit a new high. And I'm not disappointed in that either. That helps my
Joe, the people who put big money in tech aren't happy because it's been collapsing.
Yeah, I mean
like the last month, 2 months. So it's
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
it depends on who you are.
But I would ask you, are you willing to compromise your morals for a couple extra dollars in your pocket? Are you willing to compromise the morality of this country just because it makes you a couple of dollars? That's my question. Because you have someone in office who doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about your problems. He doesn't care about making America better. He's more interested in making himself better. And that's why the incident with Obama's and the apes has important implications for all of us. I'll stop.
Great, Joe. And what's saying is we're devolving. How many times do I bring up Devo? This is becoming Joe's favorite album. Are We Not Men? Going back to the 1800s, talking like this, acting like this, just disparaging Americans. Remember, he called Obama. He said he was Kenyan or something. Was going to prove he wasn't born in America. I mean, it's just where the head is. I'm just so disappointed. People, I don't care if you're right wing or left wing. You got to see this guy for what he is. He is upfront about it, and it's just no more laughing. It's reached the end. Understand who and what you're dealing with. And if you're in his way, he'll run you over as fast as he'll run over anybody else. Now, as the country keeps burning, we're going to roll into the economy now, which was a lot of what we were going to talk about. Joe has always been yelling at me and others, Mark, I need more facts. Mark, I need more facts. I keep saying I'm not going to give you FAXs. I give you FACTSs, okay? And understand we get this out of a lot of different media. But let's look at some of this stuff. The Wall Street Journal, they're kind of right-wing. I read it all the time. They talked about tariffs and what's been happening to prices in America. It raises relative prices. Trump said that foreigners, corporations pay at least 80% of the tariffs, according to a Harvard researchers. They came out and said, jive, Trump totally blew it. That's not what we said. What it says is the retail pass-through of tariffs, get this, is 24% to consumer prices. 24%, higher than Trump's 2018 to 2019 China tariffs. U.S. consumers bear up to 43% of the tariff burden. U.S. companies bear most of the rest, and the small ones get handled. The Kiel Institute say Americans pay 96% of the tariffs. It's either higher prices or less choice. Before we go any further with some of these numbers, I got so many more to go with. But Trump is pushing to reduce interest rates and to pump this economy. You're listening to him. And what he's trying to do is get people to believe that by just getting some tax refunds out there and others like that, the economy is just going to explode. But manufacturing jobs are down, Joe. They're not just going to suddenly hire people. Hiring is going down like crazy. You're just kind of sitting with everything. I got these numbers. The Challenger Gray Christmas Report, January, they put out a report on jobs. Was worse for planned corporate job cuts since 2009. That was George Bush, right? That 2009.
Obama was president in 2009.
I'm sorry?
Obama,
2008. So 2009 is when it happened, because we had the
great
recession was just collapsing everything then. This is worse for planned job cuts since then. Think about that. Isn't that crazy? U.S. job openings dropped by 386,000 in December, the lowest level since September 2020. Wasn't Donald Trump president then? It's like Devo. We're devolving, going back to it. Job openings fell in December to 6.5 million versus 1 million last year. How much are you paying for health insurance? All this talk. Remember, Joe, wasn't everybody talking about health insurance? This, to me, goes to Congress, too, okay? It's Democrat, Republican. There was this big shutdown over the Obamacare, how much the premiums were going to go up because government was not going to help back it. Remember? We had to shut down. Well, what has happened? Have you heard anything happen? You have Trump with his price, Trump whatever. Look, if you got insurance, a lot of these companies have already reduced a lot of these prices to pretty close to where Trump's talking about it. It's not going to make a major impact today. It sure doesn't affect your health insurance. You still got to come up with the cash no matter what. If you don't have health insurance, you're still going to have to pay for it if it's cheaper or not, right? If you don't have a job, you still got to pay for it whether it's cheaper or not. And we're sitting here looking at this, and so the jobs are going down. The openings are going down. We're going to have a little cash. But what happens, Joe, when a whole bunch of money floods into the system and people have maybe more money? They spend it, right? That only helps inflation because it forces up the prices. But as it's forcing up the prices, if you listen to the president, you're going to take that money and put it away for your health insurance. And then they're going to give you, and that's what you're going to do? Now, you're going to take that and then pay for the food. But the food has gone up in price. But you got to take some of that and pay for the energy. I keep hearing about gas. I never hear anybody talk about electric. Man, the electricity bills are through the roof. All power bills are through the numbers. Are incredible what they're doing. Look at yours. Anybody out there, it's blowing up. You don't live in a car. You live in your house. It's so much more. So you've got all this going on. And what's Donald Trump doing? He's out sending out his, I don't want to use the wrong words, sending out his nationalized police force, a bunch of masked thugs to take down Americans, let them die. Look what's going on in Minnesota. Oh, they got it quiet. They quieted it down a bit. But look what's happened. Minnesota had all that issue with the all the thefts out of the money, the government money that was coming in for child support. To take care of children and all that, right? And the U.S. Attorney's Office there was doing a great job bringing a lot of these people in, charging them, getting them found guilty, and they're starting to find out where the money is. Well, this all just kind of came together. I've been talking about this for a while. Trump decides, man, look at all those people there. There's a real problem. I don't like these numbers. I'm going to storm them with armed, masked thugs. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to, with, what do you say, revenge and retribution, standing up at the on his cloud and throwing it down. I'm going to send them in, take everybody out, and I'm sending it in to uproot the fraud. Remember this. Please, supporters of Trump, look at this. And, of course, those who are with us, it's just too obvious. He was sent them in to take care of the fraud. Now, let me ask you, and then I'm going to give you the answer. You think those guys are all accountants? You think those guys know how to look at numbers and budgets? No. The ICE guys came in with guns, with pepper spray and all that kind of stuff. That's not going to get rid of fraud. So what happens? Renee Good gets killed. The lady was trying to drive away from the cop. Not a cop. I'm sorry. The cops are okay. Drive away from the masked thug who popped her in the head and with a couple others. The civil rights group of the Attorney General's the U.S. Attorney's Office went to start an investigation. And Trump's people said no investigation. So what happens? Those lawyers quit. The prosecuting attorneys, 6 of them, I think it went up to 12, but the 6 leading ones who were taking down this fraud in Minneapolis and in Minnesota, who were uprooting all this money, quit. Why'd they quit? Because of the unethical actions by this government. Now, instead of having lawyers in there who can now go in and charge and investigate and do everything, they don't have the lawyers anymore. They're gone. So how did the president help us doing this? He sends in a bunch of masked thugs. We have 2 Americans killed. We have Americans dragged out of their houses in a blanket and walked out in the middle of the snow, in the middle of the ice. Where's the fraud uprooted? It can't, because it got so bad. It's so bad in the the U.S. Attorney's Office, Joe, that one of the lawyers said to the judge, when the judge was asking all these questions, Why are you like not taking care of all these orders that I'm putting out there? You know what the answer was? We don't have enough time. We don't have enough people. We don't have what it takes to do it anymore, Judge. So what happens? They fire him or her, whichever one, and now you're down another lawyer. So you can't uproot the fraud. So from throwing down the retribution and revenge, having Americans die, throwing in Tom Homan, thinking that's like making any difference, it really is. It's just he's smart enough to get it quieted down a bit. Yet the fraud is going to keep going on because there are no lawyers to do it. So the ones he wanted, who were in there doing it, quit because of Donald Trump. Ended up being 12 of them. Goodbye fraud investigations. How smart is that for those of you who thinks this guy plays 55 levels of chess? How smart is that? He can't play with Spock. He's got no chance. It's not good. Okay, so he just took it, threw another match on the American flag. Let's just get all the lawyers quit. Let's let Americans die, and then I can sit there and act like I'm doing something good. You're doing nothing. The fraud investigations have pretty much ended. You can't even get to the judges because you got no lawyers. Horrible. How about the Epstein? Well, I'm not worried about Epstein's. Now, how about Tulsi Gabbard? You know, the DNI. Well, before I go any further, Joe, you think I should drop in on the chat?
Sure.
Where is it? Oh, sorry. No, wait a second. Nope. Joe, I don't see the chats.
It's just on the YouTube.
It must be.
I know
here.
It's not showing up
so
on our thing.
Talk. You'll have to throw me some questions and tell me what they're all saying on this thing.
So there's some good discussion in there, but then there's times when people just sort of resort to name calling, and we like this to be a safe place where people can express opinions and share facts, not just call each other names. We understand if you're wearing a blue hat or a red hat and that sort of thing and cheering your team on, but let's try and keep it civil in there.
That's nice of you. Well, we try to keep it civil, Joe, but the point is we got a problem here. Let's keep talking about what's going on with the economy. Have you gone to the store recently? I bought bananas. I bought all this stuff. It's like crazy. Have you talked to people at the store? This to me it's where it comes down to. People don't even talk to each other anymore. People walk by everybody. No hi, no little wink, no something the way people used to be, a smile, because we have been with this going on, with a president who's threatening to go into Greenland and that disappears, with a president who is letting Russia destroy Ukraine, he talks big, with the president who says to the Iranians revolt and then does nothing to back them. I'm not saying right or wrong, but it's just all red line, and he doesn't go over that red line. He lets other people go over it. He does nothing about it. So why all the talk? After a while, everybody just knows, why am I listening to this guy? You know, India just signed some trade deal with us, but the Indian trade deal with the Chinese is much better. Did you know that the European Union is making a deal with a group of Latin American countries down here? Why not? They're going to make all the money on the trade. Who do we have as friends? That's all that's permeating this country. To me, it's the essence. What's so great about this country is we're different, but we're the same. We have the soup, we have the rights, purportedly, of the equal rights of the Constitution, of the amendments. All those rights are ours. And that's the same ideas. And then the different people who came in and became part of these rights made the soup, which was like a basic chicken broth, and turned it into a spicy soup or a sweeter soup or a really nice soup. When all different Americans came here, every one of you on the chat, every one of you in there, what do you think is going on? You just showed up here. You came over as immigrants also. And that's what made this country so great, that we could all stay together, did not have to be the same. But at the same time, we were, because we have the same rights. And now we have a president who is taking those rights. You'll have you killed by mass thugs because you can't see these people's faces. And let's throw something else out. I don't agree with the demonstrators wearing masks, Joe. If you want to demonstrate, we believe heavily in nonviolence. That's all we ever talk about, right? Nonviolence wins the game. But if you're going to sit there and put a mask on and go after masked thugs, you're almost as bad. You may even be worse. If you want to get out there and you want to fight, fight by yelling and talking and nonviolently protesting, take that mask off and say, I'm here and I'm doing it. We do it. There ain't no mask on us. With this mug, I probably need a mask. Okay? But there ain't no masks on us. And that's how people have to be. So we can't say, well, you have to do this, but we won't do it. But if we go forward with something like that, we start working together. But it's all separate. It's all separate. It's all I'm an American. I'm an American. Wrong. When did that carrying the flag ever turn into a political thing? It was patriotic. We have it on Just an American Citizen. Please subscribe. Please go on. It's been up for 13 years. It'll tell you everything. I went from boring to more boring to even more boring, and then had to bring in Joe to help bring this thing and move this thing. But right, that's where we are with it. But now what's happening is you're being told you are not American. And even if you are, I'm going to pick you up and check you out. And I'm going to make you carry ID. And I'll kill you if you're American. I'm government. It doesn't matter what it is. And then I'll come down and lie about everything I tell you. I'll lie about everything I tell you. Meanwhile, my Justice Department will redact all those names in the Epstein files, sit there and redact them. We don't see all these rich people, what they were doing. Can you believe all these Bill Gates, all these guys, Joe? They're all just pumping in, looking at it. Deepak Chopra. Isn't he supposed to be like a holy guy or something, or he knows the world? All these guys, let it out. Let's see some other names. And while we're at it, if you want to interview Trump, the Clintons, I say right on, you interview Trump. But he won't do it. But I don't have a problem with the Clintons going out there, and it should be public. Everybody. I don't hear anybody talking about, except Ro Khanna and Massey and a couple others. I don't hear anybody talking about the truth with these people, worrying about the women who are now women who were kids, all the money. It now looks like Epstein tried to make a meeting with Putin. Did you see that? He went through, I think, the guy in Britain. They're the guys who are all getting fired there. The guy in Britain, I think, got him in touch with Putin, or one of Putin's guys, because he wanted to talk to Putin. Why are we hiding all these names, Joe? What is the reason for the cover-up of the names? We know, because it's money. And to the Trumpers, if not Trumpers, to Trump, if he can get that money, maybe those people gave money for, but he doesn't care anymore, to get somebody pardoned. Maybe some people did something for his family. Maybe they're partners with this family. Did you see Howard Lutnick? Who's he? The Secretary of Commerce went on there and said, well, when I met Epstein, my wife said, we'll never deal with him again. I knew right away. And now we have an email showing he was playing with them years later. The lies that are absolutely incredible, and they get away with. That's what separates us.
Let me just say this.
Because there's no facts.
Let me just say this.
Because there's no facts. Go ahead.
People will say, why are you just picking on Trump? And it's
he's the president.
And it's fair, but it's also fair to say that this cuts across all political parties. It basically identifies a relatively small group of people who are rich and powerful. And let's go back to what we're saying with the Obamas and the ape situation. It shows that certain people don't look at their fellow human beings as human beings. They look at them as objects that they can take advantage of. And that's what's going on with why people are so upset with the Epstein situation, that a group of rich and powerful males took advantage of girls who were in a one-down situation. Many of them came from broken homes. They had psychological problems. That they didn't have any resources, and the people with resources looked at these people not as individuals, not as human beings, not as your daughter, but as toys that they could play with. And when they were done, they just threw them away. They didn't care. They didn't care. And that's the attitude that certain people in this country have. And it cuts across all political parties and faiths and that sort of thing. But this lack of morality is really hurting us as a country. And I think we, people of goodwill, if you will, need to stand up and shine a light on it. Don't hide it under the bushes. I mean, Trump is great at creating a lot of heat, but he doesn't shine any light. And that's what we need to do. And hopefully that's what this our live stream is about, is trying to shine some light on these things. And you do a great job of pointing out, shining a light on what's happening in this country. And hopefully that resonates with some people.
And you're doing a great job with it too, Dr. V. That's why I need you to calm me down sometimes. What are you seeing? What are you seeing on the chat? Anything good?
The chat is much more reasonable than in recent weeks, but it still sometimes devolves a little bit into the name calling, and we have to watch that. But there's some good comments in there, and people are free to express their opinions. That's perfectly fine, but you don't have to put the other person down to try and make your point.
No, you don't, do you? It doesn't matter. Good points, Dr. V. And that's what we have to remember. And that's all part of what I was talking about with the I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. I've been trying to get onto the chat. I just can't do it. And we're going to catch heat about my technological problems. So I just can't get onto the chat. I would love to jump on. I know Spartacus is doing a great job. I'm sure a lot of our friends are on there all the time. Tom said he's watching us on TV now. So that makes it even better. And as you know, the TV star is the guy here who's grinning down there. He's the TV star. He puts it on. He gets everything ready. I have to call him. You ready? You out of bed? Did you put it on? Mm-hmm. Just happens. Look how good he looks. Look at that, man. That's the look. Okay. Look at that. Don't shake your head. You look good, Joe. So, but that's all part of it.
For audio podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got a face for that. I'm with that. I got a face to sell pillows. So but the point that we have to remember then is that the president is the great disuniter. He'll sit there and just want this person against this person. And that goes back to what we always talked about. We either stand alone, we either hang alone or we hang together. When people get sliced off, subgroup, suddenly you find out you're one of those subgroups are going to get sliced because you're in the way of this government or these people who want to just put money in their pockets and run this country. And it's going big. The big boys are making the cash. They get all the immediate write-offs now. They're going to make so much money on taxes. I think Amazon got a massive tax break, not their personal tax break, but with this big, beautiful tax bill, I think they got that. Let's see how much more money everybody else has. And still, how are people going to afford health care, Joe? I'm coming back to it. I don't hear anybody talking about health care. Nobody. Meanwhile, the numbers that they're showing on TV that these people have to pay are through the roof. And they're getting less benefits than they got before for all that kind of money. And I want to throw out a little thing. I have this pet peeve. We always talk about how the president's talking about how he's trying to shut down the gangs and shut down the drugs, Joe. We hear that all the time. And he's going to take out Mexico. Let's note something here. This is something nobody ever talks about, ever. There are sales of 50 caliber ammo going to the Mexican syndicates. Now, they're the size of a cigar. They're like this big, okay? They were made to take down helicopters and cars. That's how big they are, okay? The Mexican syndicates are getting them. And these cartels are getting it from this place called the Lake City Army Ammunition Plant outside KC. It's an American plant, okay? They know because it says LC. There's a big article on this showing the pictures. Where is the Secretary of Defense dealing with this? They go around and they take these 50 caliber. They say that the Mexican army can't even come close to it. That these 50 caliber shells, and they come through in their Jeeps and just go through these cities and just take people out. You should see it goes through brick, goes through everything. These are American armaments. And we are pumping them out, not sending it to them. They're finding a way to get it and run with it. But where is the president of the United States? Where is the Secretary of Defense? Where is Bondi shutting down on this? The Attorney General. We all look at all this kind of stuff, and I go, wow, that's something major. You want to shut down the syndicates? Quit giving them the weapons, Mr. Trump. Quit giving the Mexican syndicates this 50 caliber or letting them get the 50 caliber bullets. He's not giving it to them. He's not shutting it down, making sure they don't get it. He'd rather talk big. Joe, I thought I had to throw that out. That's bothering me. I see it just tears buildings apart. I know he ain't giving it to them, but nobody is jumping on this. This is something that's major. You want to get rid of the gangs? You want them to stop dealing drugs here? You don't want them to have ammo and weapons that our army uses to take down helicopters or vehicles driving down the road. Think about that. Incredible. Incredible. Where is that? Once again, it's easier to say that I'm going to shut down the Kennedy Center because nobody's coming to perform there anymore. It's easier to say I'm going to put up this big Arch Day Triumph, whatever, to go over Lincoln. It's something to say I'm going to have a big condo over the East Wing that we're going to call the Trump condo at the White House over the East Wing. I'm seeing that coming. That's right down the road. It's just like him saying, Chuck Schumer said to me, suggested that if I give the money back for Penn Station, all that train construction in New York, they will name Penn Station after me in New York, and they will name Dulles Airport in Virginia after me. Who would believe that anybody that Chuck Schumer would make that offer to him? Who would even think of doing it? I don't think most people even know that Dulles Airport is John Foster Dulles, who I believe was Secretary of State under Dwight Eisenhower, I believe. But people don't know American history. I could be wrong there, but that's what I think it is. So that's where we are. It's like, wow, Joe, what's going on? How are we being helped by the president? How is he not destroying this country? Tell me, I'm waiting. I can't see it. I need you to tell me. Has the mosh pit said what he has done well for us, except close the border?
Mostly they're saying things like Trump 2028, he's the best president ever, things like that. They're cheering, it's great. They're in the stands, they got their MAGA hat on and they're cheering their team. So it would be nice if they presented some data, but they're not interested in presenting data. They're more interested in pointing out how Joe Biden didn't do very much when he was president. So
well, they were all complaining he did too much. Now they're saying he didn't do enough. It's crazy. It's just so. I don't know, Joe. Joe, I say I've had enough, as always. We can only devolve so much. But I'm glad all over. I'm doing my old little boomer stuff here. I'm glad all over that people come here because any way you want it, we'll give you anything. To truth, opinions, anything of real opinions, anything of truth and facts as we see it, because we're not afraid to tell you what we think. We are opinions. That's what makes it fun of being an opinion, isn't it, Joe? And we try to throw stuff out there, and I wish some people would disagree, would show me where all these numbers I'm putting out here are wrong. Blue-collar jobs declined by more than 145,000 last year. Incredible. ADP, private sector added only 22,000 jobs in January, less than half of expected. 231,000 people claiming unemployment benefits. And now Trump just changed the rules to make it easier to get rid of another 50,000 federal workers. Yeah, let's just fire everybody.
We still sort of disagree a little bit on the economy, but I know you don't like to look at the stock market, but for many people, their wealth is tied to the stock market, and the stock market is up. So that's number one. Number two, inflation is about 3%. It would be better if it was 2%, but it's not in double digits. And during the Biden administration, it did hit like 9-10%. And
it didn't get to 10%. It got to 9%.
And it got up to 9%.
And that was after he opened it, after Trump shut it down. And then you had the big pool, and people were fighting to get commodities. Prices went up, and all this cash was in people's hands.
There's good reasons why it went up, and it went up all over the world and that sort of thing. We're coming out of COVID, and so it went up. But people have seen where inflation has been up much higher than even 3%. You and I have lived through times when it was in double digits, and that was when we had real stagflation. And right now, we don't have that. Unemployment is up maybe slightly, but it's been actually hanging in there. And so the doom and gloom that we anticipated a few months ago hasn't really come to pass. And so I don't want to exaggerate where we are with the economy. The price of gasoline is down.
Doom and gloom? Who was talking about doom and gloom? Nobody was talking about a recession. Nobody was talking about
stagflation.
The place falling apart. Stagflation isn't doom and gloom. We were saying it would be some stagflation, but doom and gloom would be we're going to have a bad recession or a depression. people are going to lose their jobs. As it is, everybody's losing all their jobs. We never doom and gloom. Let me tell you, Joe, where haven't you been on this show? We don't believe in doom and gloom here. We think we're the greatest country in the world. True. We have the flag on the just American citizen. We may complain. We may think Trump's horrible. We may think he's tearing people's rights up. We may think it's 1984. But doom and gloom, if I was doom and gloom, I wouldn't be on here. I'd be down there crying on the floor. And I'm not crying on the floor. So don't you start talking
stagflation. Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
You predicted terrible stagflation.
And it's starting.
And it's starting. Yeah, but it's not here like we might
have
expected it to be higher. So I mean, what, just for fun, what do you think the inflation rate is going to be in a month or 6 months?
Who knows? Who knows? Because he's putting the numbers out.
Oh.
So you can't trust the numbers. Who knows? You have to see what all these private ones put out and then know where they're going to go with it. But how can you trust his numbers, Joe? It's the Ministry of Disinformation. This is the same government that comes out and says that when people protest, they're rioters and they're secessionists and they're all this kind of stuff. I don't believe
so. What can we look at? We can look at the price of gas. That's everyone can look at a number.
Electricity, utility bills, you can look at that number. And everybody knows that's through the roof. All you see is AI's fighting. They're trying to build enough plant capacity for all of it. They don't have it. I bet you if you look at your numbers for this month versus a year ago, your numbers will be gigantic on your electric bills, whether it's electric or gas. They get you. We don't have enough transmission. We don't have anything for it. So now we have the big corporations, once again, they're going to be controlling all this. After they have all this control, they build all this power for themselves, they'll let us have a little bit to let it kind of speed out to everybody. But right now it ain't happening. Why are manufacturing jobs down? That's not doom and gloom. That's just worry. That's just calling people out and saying, watch out. Watch out. Inflation's going up. The value of the dollar is going down. Watch out. Inflation's going up. Unemployment's slowly going up. They're calling it the no hire, no fire economy. I keep hearing that. But what good is that? No hire, no fire. Didn't Amazon just lay off a slug of people? Didn't the Washington Post just lay off 300 people? I mean, it's just happening everywhere. But doom and gloom, don't give me that. We don't put up with doom and gloom here. We love our country. It's the greatest country in the world still. And we're trying to do everything we can to let people know we've lived through this, seen this, and we're trying to kind of level set. Go, Joe.
Well, so again, it may be the case that we're going to see unemployment go up and inflation rate go up, but we're not living that right now. So it's possible that will happen. You're making a prediction for the future, but what we're living right now, people are living their lives. Today is Super Bowl Sunday. People are going to enjoy coming together as a country and watching the Super Bowl and eating wings and eating too much crap food and people are living their lives. So
good.
So it's important to point that out. But
bread and circuses,
sure. So people are, that's another thing besides fiddling while Rome was burning. There's giving people bread and circuses to keep them entertained. I think for me the biggest problem isn't necessarily that the economy is crashing right now.
It's not crashing.
Or it's, I think we should keep an eye on it, and it could go bad for sure. But what I don't have to predict is happening. What actually is happening is that you can see a moral decay. That there's no sense of helping each other. There's no sense of treating each other as human beings, particularly people who are not doing so well in the economy. People who are poor, people who need health insurance, people who need housing, who need food. I just don't see that kind of compassion in this administration. And for me, that's a sorry state. And that's what's upsetting to me is, and here's the thing. I talk with people who support Trump. I talk to people who wear the red hat. And when you get to meet them, they're not like this. They do care about their fellow American citizens. They do care about other people. I have a friend who we argue viciously with each other about what Trump's doing, what Biden was doing. But a couple of months ago, I had a situation where I needed someone to open up a office that was locked, and he's a locksmith. On a Saturday morning, this person, who we argue with all the time, got out of bed, drove 40 minutes to come to my office and help install a new lock.
I wouldn't have done
You
it.
wouldn't have done it. I know you wouldn't have done it, but here's a guy who's pro MAGA. He even likes some of the memes that Trump puts up and all that. But in his heart, the kind of
He's a
person
good
he
guy.
is that he's there to help
Right.
each other. And
Right.
and that's the kind of country we really are, the majority of us. And I wouldn't get dissuaded by vocal people at both extremes who are doing it for performative reasons, that they get more clicks, they get more attention. We don't have to be that way. What's the problem? Let's identify the problem and work on solutions. And we can do that with immigration. We can do that with the economy. The problems in this country are fixable, and particularly fixable if we work together to find common solutions. And it's just, for me, who's been around for a while, as you say, we've circled the sun a few times, that I haven't seen this country, that has been so polarized that we can't come together to solve problems. And so for me, that's what it's all about. And hopefully that's what this live stream is about, that people with various opinions can come together, express their opinions, share some facts, and work on solutions. That's all.
Man. Wow. How can you follow that? It's like trying to follow Jimi Hendrix at Monterey. It's tough.
So who's everybody rooting for in the Super Bowl? Does New England have a chance?
Everybody says it's just too many people saying they don't have a chance. So you got to figure they're going to have a chance. Who knows? I'm rooting for the food, and I haven't looked at any of the ads yet, so I want to see some of the ads.
I got to peek at some of the ads. Are hilarious.
There's some of them. You've had a peek at them. They're looking good. Okay,
they have some great ads.
That's the best part. I mean, you got to hope it's really a game, and because you don't want it to end at halftime. Everybody's talking like Seattle can't lose, and it's just what's obvious is obviously wrong. I won't bet on it, but I just wow.
You have to have a rooting interest, Mark.
I do. I want it to end so we can get into the off season, and I can start. I've already started looking at draft choices for the Ravens because we're number 14. What's coming up and where we're going? I've been watching the coaching staff. Now we have to see if Lamar will be extended. What's going to happen there? Oh, I'm ready. Get this out of the way, and I'm already. And spring training for the O's starts in like a week.
Yeah, that's true. Pitchers and catchers too.
Because they got the world
pitchers and catchers.
And no, the world. I think it's the World Baseball.
Oh, okay, good.
Originally with some pitchers and catchers, then everybody starts coming in. You saw some Puerto Rican guys couldn't get insurance to play, so they're not playing. I don't know why. There was something about maybe they had an injury or something, so they can't play in the WBC. But that's why I just want to get the Super Bowl over with. I'm going to eat a lot. I got some
So what are you doing for the Super Bowl? Anybody coming over?
Nah, to me, it's not a big deal. If the Ravens were in it, it'd be a big deal.
Last year at this time, I was doing the Eagles dance.
I know. I remember. How can anybody forget? Please go on to Just an American Citizen. Go back to last year at this time, and he was up there doing that dance, and we were go Dr. V, go Dr. V. I never saw him dance like that in my life. I don't know if we could call it dancing or maybe small kangaroo hop.
People thought I was having a seizure or something.
I was worried. I almost called 911 in Philly to get him over to you. I was worried about you. Jeez, man.
Are you watching the Olympics?
No interest.
What?
I mean, if stuff comes on, I watch it, but it's,
I love curling. That's my sport.
Curling's
I wake up early in the morning to watch curling.
You do. I just saw like Lindsey Vonn had to be helicopter.
Oh, don't spoil it. I taped it.
Oh, I thought you knew. It's all over the papers.
I'm trying not to.
Well, you didn't tell me that. I didn't know. You're talking to me about it.
I have it all queued up. I have it on ready to play. I was watching in the beginning before I came on.
Well, now you know.
Don't tell me who won.
I have no idea. I just know Lindsey Vonn. I don't follow.
I got a couple of pennies on the Italian.
Did you bet on Lindsey Vonn?
I have a couple pennies on the Italian girls, women.
Do you have anything on
No.
Lindsey Vonn? Good, then you didn't
All
lose.
right,
You're
good.
fine. You're in good shape that way. You're rocking. But I mean, I give her so much credit. She has like a torn ACL. Was going down. How you can do that? What was she thinking? And she's 41. Come on, take it easy. Go into commercials. Make a lot of money sponsoring things, and enjoy your life, Lindsay. Come on.
I think this is
That's
it.
how
I think
look
she's
at it.
done now.
I assume so. Your body after a while only does what it does. So you haven't told me you're taking the Seahawks today,
I have the Seahawks winning, yes.
and are you giving points?
I'm just straight up right now.
Yeah, but you have to be given
No,
points,
no,
right?
just it's straight up bet that they're going to win. I don't have number of points. Here's my prediction for that. Anybody playing fantasy?
Yeah, we're not gambling. We're not talking gambling. We're just talking the Super Bowl.
Seattle to win in a low-scoring under type game.
Oh, so you're doing under 2? As those of you who've watched this know, I say just pick one thing, deal with it, and he'll go crazy and do 55 things around it. And I'll say, hey, we won. We had one. He'll go, but I did 55 other things, and we had issues there. And it just gives me that look, and I just shake my head, and I go, kids, come on. Come on.
I think the defenses will have a good day.
I think so. I mean, McCormick was our defensive coach of the Ravens a few years. I really like him, so I'd like to see him win.
Both defenses are very good.
Both teams are good. Though we should have beaten them. We were beating them, and Monken and Harbaugh didn't do any handoffs to the King and let it go. And then Cleveland hired Monken as their head coach. I don't know how they did that, but good. I mean, he knows the Ravens, but I don't see him taking them to the Super Bowl. But that was their move. Cleveland's got a great record of hiring, don't they? So we'll see.
And picking quarterbacks, that's their other great skill.
It's great having the Browns in our division, Joe. It's great having the Browns in our division. One day they'll break out. One day, but I just don't see it right now.
They need a quarterback.
Yeah, well, you've been complaining. A.J. Brown says he wants out.
Good.
Oh, okay. You following the Phillies yet? You ready for the Phillies?
Yeah, they're making no moves. It's terrible. All the other teams in their division are improving their team, and the Phillies are doing nothing.
Well, we thought we needed a big-time pitcher, 8 none left. So we're going to have to see what happens. Hopefully Elias knows what he's doing. Rubenstein's putting out the money. It's going to be interesting. I think there's a trade on the horizon. I think something's going on. They can't stay the same. Either way,
here's the point. Here's the point. Sorry for the digression, guys, but here's the point. Today, Super Bowl Sunday, Olympics. Okay. It's a day where we can wear a red, white, and blue hat. We can come together as a country. This is like the one time of the year where we can come together. Doesn't matter, Trump supporter, not Trump non-supporter, whatever. We can all come together and really express the true spirit of what being American is all about, and enjoy this country, enjoy this day. This is a national holiday.
Be a consumer. The true American. I say right on. It's great. I hope so. But didn't the president say only get $2, not 10? So I'm with you. It's just fun to eat. It's fun to yell and scream and watch TV. I'm ready for it. Thank you all. Let me tell you, look at this guy. He is going to be going crazy. He gets a chance.
I need some comments in the mosh pit about what healthy snacks I can eat during the Super Bowl. Does anybody have any good healthy snacks?
Vegetables and fruits. Apples, oranges, tangerines, bananas. Go for it. Okay, I accept that answer. Okay, guys, that's it there. And there's nothing else to say. He got in the last word. Well, thank you for all watching. We're going to be back Wednesday at 5. We love you. Thank you so much. I'll get my mosh pit thing fixed here. You guys are the greatest. Spartacus, I don't know who else was in there. Joe has been, I assume, talking to everybody.
Spartacus does a great job as usual. Great job, Spartacus.
So
Thank
right,
you.
I'm sure we have some of our other regulars are always showing up, and we're on TV, I'm told. So people are watching us on TV, which I thought was cool. Make this thing even bigger. We got a problem. That's all both of us need. But if you're square, we ain't there. And that's the way it is. Joe,
period.
We'll see you Wednesday. Thank you all for coming.